Podcast, presented by Moto Fit Club, your go-to resource for moto coaching, fitness, and community for all women riders. Whether you're brand new to riding, a weekend warrior, or professional racer, Moto Fit Club was created by women for women to support your journey on a dirt bike. Please welcome your hosts, Bry Marcotte and Sammy Mummert.
What's up, guys? It's Bry Marcotte with Moto Fit Club. This is the Moto Made Podcast. It's one of the first episodes. Really excited to finally get this off the ground. And I'm here with Sammy Mummert. What's up, Sammy?
What's going on, everyone? Super happy to be here with Moto Fit Club and recap Hangtown.
All right, well, let's get into it. All right, so we got to go to Hangtown, which was super exciting. It's obviously been decades since the both of us got to go, which is cool. Kind of nostalgic almost. Nothing's changed. The track's the same. The freaking parking's the same. Dirt's all the same. Layout's the same. Hopefully the racing was not the same. It was a little bit more exciting than the last time we were there 14 plus years ago. But obviously it was a super stacked lineup of girls, unlike 14 years ago when it was a pretty solid... I mean, we had a pretty good turnout back then, too. There was 20, 25 girls that used to line up back in the day as well, so...
if that, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as, stacked, in my opinion. You had... is that maybe a little bit more spread out in, in battles, per se, unlike what we've seen this year so far with, the girls that are on the line now. I mean, we're talking battles from first all the way to 25th. There's battles, from in all the positions. It's not just, maybe the top 10 like it was last time, 13, 14 years ago when it was maybe the first two girls and then maybe top 3, top 4 were pretty fast, and that was what everybody paid attention to. And then after that it kind of fell off. And I'm including myself in that group. The top 20, and I was surviving for my life all by myself in top 20, but yeah, so it's been exciting to see the caliber of girls that are lining up on the line. So I guess we can kind of talk about the fact that even at Hangtown, I believe top 3, it was 2 Americans and 1 Australian. So you had first, obviously, was Lala Turner. She got first in both motos, which is, I don't think anyone's surprised with that. And then Charlie Cannon from Australia got second, but she didn't have a clean sweep. It was, I believe she went third in Moto 1 and second in Moto 2, but got third overall. And then Michaela Nielsen was the last step on the podium and third overall with a 2-3. But obviously there's more than just, there's quite a bit of international girls that have come out to race. But what makes you think coming to the U.S. is the pinnacle of racing when we have all these girls from Australia that are so fast coming to the U.S. to race, but why are they coming here? Why aren't we going to Australia to race these girls? What do you think it pulls women into the U.S. to want to race?
I think it sounds like obviously majority of the best girls in the world are in the U.S., and then so all the Australians want to come here to race them. There's a ton of top talent. Obviously a lot that even comes out of California, but all over the US. But also it sounds like in Australia their tracks are not as ideal as ours out here, the grooming, how far they have to go to even ride the tracks, what you have to do to actually get there. And it sounds like even the maintenance of our tracks and how they turn into pro nationals is something that these girls have never even experienced in Australia. So it's a totally different ball game. But with that being said, it sounds like because the tracks are so gnarly out in Australia, these girls are fast as shit. So it kind of gives them a little bit, I think, of maybe an upper hand because we're a little bit spoiled out here in the US with how well they groom the tracks. But they still have high competition out here because everyone is so fast, because there's so many tracks that are accessible to everyone around the nation.
And you got to talk to, we all kind of made friends with some of the girls that did come over when we got to go out to Paula, which was round 1 of the Pro Motocross series, for the kind of the pre-series press conference that they hosted on Friday before the first moto or the first round. So we got to meet a lot of the girls that are competing in this championship for this year. And Emma, I'm going to botch her last name every time, but Milcevic is one that came from Australia. So you actually got to talk to her. We all became friends with her, fast friends with Emma, because she's just a badass. And she was super friendly and kind of morphed into our little group that was there on site. And so we got to kind of talk to her. But like you mentioned, she kind of shed some light into why Australia's tracks are so gnarly, like you said. So I could see that'd be a pull to want to come to the U.S. and race against the fastest in the world, because right now Lala Turner hasn't been beat. I think maybe there were some hiccups last season where she got beat, a moto or two. But then, coming out to Hangtown, there was zero mistakes, so nobody was able to really capitalize on it. I mean, she had some corner crashes, which, I think you can chalk that up to just making a mistake, but nobody's been able to beat her so far. So hopefully somebody like Emma can kind of throw a tire in there and spice things up. I mean, Charlie Cannon's obviously doing her best that she can, but you have to kind of minimize the mistakes if you're going to race at that caliber. But obviously, Taylor McCutcheon, we met her as well. She's also from Australia, and she is probably the best bet to kind of throw a wrench in the top three, because I think I believe she got fifth overall.
I think she got third at Thunder Valley though at one point, right?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for Hangtown, she got fifth overall. She went 4.5. So there's kind of some hope there too for Australia, and kind of like spicing up the top three. Let's see, who else did we talk to? I'm trying to.
If you want to talk about also like the challenges that the girls go through to come over from Australia, like even when we befriended Emma at Paula press day, like they run into challenges like that we don't even think about. So when they come over, they can't use their Australian credit card to like rent an RV. They can't use it to go get a trailer. They can't do all these things that are like so accessible to us. So I think it just shows kind of an extra drive in those girls that they want to be here, and they will do anything they possibly can to get here. And I think that we'll see that in their racing as well on the track.
Yeah, and then just so you know too, I'm trying to make this one be more just Hangtown, so don't preemptively talk about Thunder Valley, because we can do that as the second one. Yeah, now we're gonna have to start from the top at this point. So, no.
10 minutes in.
Yeah, 10 minutes in. Really, start from the top. Okay, let's see. The nice thing is that this could be edited. This isn't some like one-stop shop here.
It's a good thing we have an editor on our hands as well.
Yeah, freelance over here, pro bono work.
16 hours a day.
Overnight. Just now we're doing podcast now, so now it's like the video stuff's already one thing, but now it's like having to do this is like, all right, well, I could just sleep in a couple years. That's fine.
I think this might have to be your new full-time job. That's why.
Well, let's find somebody who can somebody support and start paying here, because I'd love to do that full time. But until then, we're gonna have to just do some. Yeah, we're trying to find a sugar mommy somewhere out there. So if you're listening,
Sugar Mama Moto Fit Club, if you're out there,
email motofitclubtraining@gmail.com and submit your resumes. We will actively go through resumes currently, so please email us. You know who else is planning to come over is Lottie Van Drunen, she's a Dutch racer, but she's currently the FIM two-time WMX champion overseas. So there's been all the talk that she's going to come over and race Thunder Valley. So it's not the first time that we've seen like international women athletes come over and be successful too. I mean, obviously our classics, we have Tanya Satchwell, who's from New Zealand, who like absolutely slayed back in her day. All of us are good friends with Tanya. She's a classic bad bitch, and if you don't know who Tanya Satchwell is, you need to do some research and some homework. I know there's a lot of younger racers in the class today, but you just do your research. Tanya Satchwell's a bad bitch. She trained Brittany and I, back in the day, same with Jackie and LV. They were all trying to ride and race like Tanya did, but she's from New Zealand. Obviously, Courtney Duncan is also from New Zealand. She came out and raced actually the WMX way back in the day, I think maybe 2013, 2014 era. So she's come out and she was really successful. She currently races at the MXGP WMX series currently too. I think she's coming back from injury. But obviously, I don't know if you remember Mariana Balbi, Brazil, classic. I don't think
Brazilian
she races anymore.
Badass. Oh, yeah.
Knows how to throw down on a motorcycle. Obviously, Sayaka Kaneshiro, we used to call her Teriyaki, probably because we couldn't pronounce her name, but she came over too from Japan. I mean, she was down with it. She called herself Teriyaki too, but we all made fast friends with those girls, and they were super badass on a motorcycle. So it's not the first time we've seen, WMX athletes come over from overseas to try and race here in the States. So I think we're going to see more like success come out from, Lottie. Maybe in the future, Courtney Duncan will come back out and race the States now that the series is starting to pick up, but it's certainly not the first time that we've seen international, WMX kind of superstars come over and battle with us Americans out here. But it has been a while since somebody from overseas has won the WMX title. I honestly think Tanya Satchel is the last one to race WMX professionally and like win a championship. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was the last time we saw somebody from overseas come over and dominate. But so we'll see. I don't know. It's kind of exciting to see how much like traction's kind of picked up with all these girls that you would think wanting to go over and race the MXGP WMX series would be like the pinnacle because their tracks are so much gnarlier, right. And they have a stacked class. But I guess they want to come here and challenge us. So, it sounds like it used to be New Zealand, and now it's Australia that's kind of taking the reins on, what country is pretty much the best here. And it's between the U.S. and Australia now. So I guess we'll find out how it turns out.
And Dutch. Let's get, if Lottie's coming over, she's gonna bring the heat too. And we obviously see it in the men's class too, with people coming from all over the world too and just smoking it. So we're excited always to have the international girls come over.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of see how that shapes up. So that'll be exciting. But we'll go through kind of like the overall results now for Hangtown. Obviously, much better weather than it was last year. We didn't go last year, but it was honestly perfect weather. So the track kind of shaped up nicely. Thank God, because all of us vet WMX racers on the Moto Fit Club team were really hoping that it was going to be as mild as possible, considering it's the first time we all raced in 14 years. So. But I think we all kind of saw the what was expected. I think we saw Lala Turner go out and win both motos, flawless, no prob. I think she did say in the press conference before that she hadn't ridden her motorcycle with the suspension that she had on it, which is just kind of interesting because it's kind of like, well, are you saying that because you made mistakes in the motos and you're trying to like blame something? Because last year Charlie Cannon, who also raced the series, wasn't even close to Lala all season. It seemed like there was a pretty big gap between first place Lala and like all the other racers. So it's kind of like, all right, well, I don't know if she was just saying that like, because she won. So I don't know why, there was the need to explain that she had just ridden on that suspension when a lot of girls are just running, basic suspension setups. I don't know what Charlie or Michaela Nielsen or even Taylor are running, but a majority of the girls that do line up have just bare bone suspension, bare bone engine. So it's kind of like, I'd be curious to know, like, did she feel she needed to like mention the suspension, on her bike because she crashed a couple times,
Maybe it was because the crashes, but also maybe just saying I have brand new suspension and I'm still winning. So who knows? It could go either way.
She seemed upset about it on the podium afterwards, complaining kind of about her frustration. That's what it looked like, at least on the broadcast when you would watch it. She seemed like she was irritated or frustrated with the suspension. So I'd be curious to see if she works that out for Thunder Valley. But obviously untouched, won both motos. So out doing her usual program. So nothing uncharacteristic for her. She tipped over a lot in the corners, I'll be honest. Like there was a lot of those weird uncharacteristic mistakes that she made, but it definitely made a good show because her and Charlie had a pretty gnarly pass, I believe, in the second moto when Lala was trying to catch back up after having a crash, caught all the way back up to Charlie, and then made that super, I don't want to say it was an aggressive pass because I don't think contact was made, but she made a really assertive pass on Charlie when she was going back up the hill and kind of took, I think she came on a rut more on the inside and kind of like pinched Charlie out of her rut.
She pushed her out, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was dramatic. It was a good pass, but I wouldn't say it was aggressive, but it was an assertive pass. But made that pass on Charlie, which is a bummer. I'd be super pissed if I were Charlie because it was like, you had like this huge gap, and then to get past, I think it was the last lap too. It was full of drama. But Charlie Cannon went 3-2 for second overall. So I think she's been working really hard on closing the gap between her and Lala because. I would too if all season I was just chasing Lala the whole time. I'd probably want to work really hard to close that gap. I'd be so frustrated. So I think we're seeing that again with Charlie. But again, another one out of Australia. So I don't know. Is it the barbecue ketchup that they got going on in Australia? I've never been, but I hear that their ketchup tastes like barbecue sauce. I'm not really sure.
Probably it sounds better than American ketchup then.
Cuisine.
But yeah, I mean, I think obviously Lala has an upper hand on kind of racing style as well, like living at Club MX as well, right? I mean, she's on the track, she's riding every day, she's riding with the guys. I think she has like adapted kind of more of an aggressive riding style, but people want to see that. People are watching the women's races for a reason, and I think it's obviously good for TV, but also women's racing. It can show that they are getting after it out there, right? No one's just like skirting by, they're like racing hard. So I think it comes for good racing, and I think Charlie Cannon still has a shot, you know, and maybe if it is even just like one of those small mistakes that Lala makes along the way, I think she'll hopefully get a win within the season this year.
I mean, I think she will. I think it's too early to like say. I think if Charlie gets a good start and stays out in front, like Hangtown's kind of tough because that is a pretty like, it's a more complex track with the jumps and the layout of the track. It's a little bit more like, I guess you would say Hangtown's maybe a little more tight than some of your traditional outdoor tracks that we're going to start to come into, but
and jumping, yeah, it's more. I mean, there's more jumps at that one than maybe most of them coming up. But
I know, yeah.
Technical track to start off on.
Yeah, exactly. So, third place overall, Michaela Nielsen, who I honestly thought she was going to come out and have a closer. She didn't really. There was a little bit of a gap between second and third, with Michaela. I guess I expected Michaela to be like in that top three battle as more than she was. I mean, not that she had a poor performance by any means, but I think it was curious. I was more shocked at that than I was shocked at Lala winning. I was kind of expecting Michaela to be like, honestly, fighting for second place at minimum, just because she's been trained. She's got a whole season under her belt from last year. She talked at the press conference about how she's been working on her sprints. And her speed right out the gate, just because these are 12-minute motos. So they're short, and she's an off-road racer, so she's used to those really long format type races, so you have time to kind of settle into your pace. So she talked about basically working on her sprints so that she could be more competitive right off the gate, but we didn't really see that. I mean, again, she got third, so there was or third overall, so there was no issues, but I guess I expected her to be battling with Charlie and Lala. But we didn't really see that. And I know she obviously had kind of a irritating Moto 1 with having, bike problems where she had to basically stand there on the line waiting for her bike to show up, which, I mean, that would be nerve-wracking for anybody. So your heart rate's already spiked and you haven't even left the gate yet. Right. So, again, not that she had a poor performance by any means. I mean, Moto 1, she did get second because of Charlie's mistakes. But in the second moto, she was a solid third, kind of on her own island, and didn't really have a lot of threat. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, maybe first round, Hangtown, everyone coming in, there's probably nerves for everyone. So, and like also the bike issues. So maybe the next couple rounds she will pick up on that, and hopefully we see her battling up in first and second position as well and getting it together, because it would be an exciting race to have her up there at the top two as well.
Yeah, I mean, she seems like she's got like the best, like, I don't want to say factory setup because she already has that, but like she comes off as the most, like the most put together, and not that the 1 and 2 aren't, but she just has such a calm, like professional demeanor that you just expect her to come out and like blow the doors off the competition. But maybe she will. She might be another one that wins a moto or two, because I'm sure she wants it just as bad. But our fan favorite. Our favorite too, super fan of Jordan Jarvis, who got fourth overall. You want to tell it? I apparently didn't see it, but you want to tell us about the drama on the start gate that you saw? I didn't see it because I was up on the hill to film, but you were right there to witness some drama for Jordan.
I think
both motos.
Jordan is obviously such a bad bitch and incredible rider. She's hungry. She's out there. I think Moto 1, she definitely had bike issues at Hangtown. And I think that there was maybe it was actually for practice. One of the first two practices, there was something that went down. She missed practice 2 and then lined up after basically like a motor swap going in to Moto 1. Went out there, obviously got fourth, which is so sick. She's such an aggressive, like, fast rider. Like, love to see women like that on the track that are just, like, pinned the whole time. But for Moto 2, yeah, we were all lined up. You were filming, and it's shocking you didn't see it. I was in such shock. I also didn't record it, so I was just watching. But we look over to the side, and along the whole, like, back line, it was either her dad or her mechanic that had to run her bike over, bump start this thing, gets it flying off, like, literally basically crosses a couple of the starting gates, pulls over, and they drop the gate within 7 seconds. All the girls were, like, holding on for dear life, and it was almost like they held it for Jordan to drop the gate and just, like, blasted off the start. I mean, talk about nerve-wracking. Like, if you want to go into nerves at the first WMX round at Hangtown, blow the bike first practice, and then you have to bump start it going into the second round on Saturday, which is when the track is really hardcore as well. So impressive to do 4 and 4. With all of that being said, she just hangs in there, which is so sick.
Yeah, so her first moto, she did get fifth, and I don't remember what the reasoning was for fifth, but I mean, it could have just been having to trust the bike after whatever they did to it, a full motor swap or whatever it might have been, because, yeah, like you said, she missed the second qualifying because she came off the first qualifying saying that something was clicking, maybe oil leak.
I think it was her valves. Like, yeah, it was. She could hear the clicks. Yeah, and she was saying it right when she got off the track.
So missing the second qualifying, basically sacrificing that time to get the bike fixed, and then basically having to ride almost like a brand new bike and just trusting it right off the bat is crazy. I don't know how anybody does that. I don't know if anybody can handle that other than Jordan.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. The tenacity behind that is unreal.
Psycho. Yeah, like to just be like, all right, well, I'm going to ride the grips off this thing because you have no other option, like, let's just give her the send. You have no choice. You got 12 minutes. You hope that it makes it through all 12 minutes, and it did. So she got fifth the first moto, and then fourth the second moto, which put her fourth overall. So stellar performance as always. Fifth overall was Taylor McCutcheon, also from Australia. She, opposite of Jordan, she went 4.5 for fifth overall. Another one that we kind of loosely got to know at Paula, a very professional, kind of closed. She seemed a little close-knit a little bit, and I don't know if it's just because, it's her first time over here racing against all these competitors, and kind of it could be overwhelming to, like, meet everybody. Obviously at Paula at the press conference, you meet Brittany, the Laurens, like, we're out there running around, laughing, screaming, being obnoxious, and I'm sure that could be intimidating for a lot of people, but she seemed really put together and, like, very quiet and reserved and just kind of, like, observing a lot. So wasn't sure, like, I hadn't seen her ride. I haven't met her obviously before, the press conference at Paula, or the press day at Paula. So to see her come out and put in a top 5 right off the bat was like, okay, well, we should definitely be watching Taylor, because I think she's going to probably be another top contender that might, put up some good battles for top 3s. So we'll kind of see how that shapes up. So she did really good with a 5th overall, the very first round. Another fast friend that we made, 6th overall at Hangtown, Lillian Pettis. Absolutes, just, I already knew when we met her at the press conference or the media days or whatever, like, that she was going to be, she kind of reminded me of, like, all of us when we were younger too, where we just were like, happy-go-lucky, like, super excited to just be there and, like, to race, but also, like, professional and, like, well put together too. And that was basically what she brought to the table. And when we were doing our video shoots in that room, I can, like, slowly kind of see her come out of her shell a little bit, because we were all just kind of trying to be, like, goofy and kind of, like, get everybody to loosen up while we were doing those video shoots. And she, like, kind of came out of her shell, and that was when I was like, she's funny. Like, she's going to be a bad bitch at the track. And that's what she did. If you would have asked me, like, to line these girls up and be like, who's going to get, top 5, top 6, like, it would have been a crapshoot, because it's like all of them had stellar personalities. Everybody was friendly. Everybody was also equally professional and, like, had really good, personalities and, like, wanted to put their best foot forward, especially when you're, like, meeting your competitors. There's no way. Even Bondo and everybody on the broadcast team that were working in those rooms, they were like, the guys aren't like this at all, and we're in there like cheering each other on to like smile and like, you know, do the super awkward poses and stuff like that. And so Lillian was in there having a great time and like cheering on her newfound friends, you know, also competitors that she's going to line up with in a week, you know, and race against. And she threw down. She went 6'6", super consistent at Hangtown, and put on a stellar performance too. And I think had one of the best battles, I think, out of the entire weekend in the WMX class. I mean, her and Emma Milcevic had the gnarliest battle. I don't know if you caught any of it, but they were basically both motos. They just battled. And at least in Moto 1, I remember I was watching the finish line jump as they were coming off at checkered flag, and Emma had to catch up after a really bad start. And it came down to the final corner, and she was basically trying to pass Lillian, and Lillian knew, you know, I'm going to have to like send it over this finish line to keep my sixth position, because Emma's right here trying to blow my doors off. So they came into the corner. Lillian pins it off the finish line. So I like look up, I'm like, oh my, this girl's like flying over the finish line, like way over jumps it, but totally secures, like locks in her sixth place. And Emma's right there. She like flies off the finish line, like kind of sideways, lands on like the side of the landing. And like they both fought all the way to the end. And to me, that was like the best battle of the entire moto. Honestly, maybe both motos, because like they put heart all the way from the start to finish to lock that in.
Yeah, I wish I saw a little bit more of that. Obviously, I was in the mechanics pit losing my voice, screaming for all of our Moto Fit Club girls. But you can see...
Fit Club?
The Fit Club girls.
The Fit Club girls?
See... Fight Club.
That's what you said.
We were Fight Club. We were Fight Club. Hangtown. But you can see the consistency behind Lillian. Obviously, like, totally wonderful family, too. Like, loved... pitting next to her, getting to know her, and like it's such a cool thing to see, like the transformation and women coming into motocross now. And like when you pulled me over at the starting gate and you're like, dude, check out her gloves, and she has all of her gloves ripped off for her long nails, and she goes out there and shreds that track. So I think it's so cool to see the new women lining up at the gate, and they're all fast, they're all hungry. Obviously so different from when we were riding back in the day, but Lillian is special, and definitely support her all throughout this series.
I forgot about the gloves. That was the most unhinged thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she like didn't say, because she pitted right next to Moto Fit Club when we were on like the WMX like privateer row at Hangtown, right. And her and her dad were just kind of pitting out of their Sprinter van with like a Walmart canopy, like. You just looked like they were doing the best they could to get there. And I was like, I support it, but I had to make fun of them because I was like, where did you guys get this canopy? Off Temu. And they set it up, and it was like, all right, cool. But she had like full custom gear. I mean, obviously she's sponsored by Canva. So, you know, she had this full custom gear, the sickest, most decked out, probably wins like best dressed, I think, for sure. She got
best dressed. I mean, her sparkly helmet, bike too. Like sparkle us up, baby. Give us a disco ball bike, baby. That's it.
Bedazzled all day. It was perfect. So I'm gonna be honest. I didn't expect a top 6 out of a bedazzled motorcycle. I'm gonna be honest. And I, like you said, I don't remember which moto it was. It must have been Moto 2 maybe, or maybe it was qualifying. I don't know. She just was like, "Oh, come here." She's like, get a photo of this. And I like had no idea what she was like about to show me. And she literally shows me her gloves, like you said. And I was like, this is extreme. Like and then like you said, she goes out and she pulls a 6th.
Yeah,
you can't script this stuff. I swear. Like you can't. Like when we were all racing, 500 years ago, nobody had nails. There was maybe 1 or 2 girls in our class that had makeup on while racing. Because it wasn't the scene back then. Like we all were like, purebred dirt bike riders that just
pretty granola.
Would never think, very granola.
We were dirty out there. Yeah.
100%. So like when you see the caliber of women that are racing today, it's like there's nothing's off the table. You can have your nails, you can have your eyelashes on, you can have bedazzled motorcycles, you could be 4 feet tall. It doesn't matter. It's all they're out here ripping, and it's like I love it because extensions,
whatever you want, whatever you want. And you go out there and you rip and you get 6. You do whatever you want.
You know what? Get even longer nails, and I hope that Lillian does.
So.
I think she's already got the custom gloves. You might as well go for the 2-3 inch nails. I don't know if you could do that, but why stop at the French tips? You know what I'm saying? Like, send it, go all out. Let's see if we can get some cheetah girl nails going.
I think she needs to patent those gloves. That's right what I said. Right when I walked up, I was just like, Shark Tank that shit. I'm like, that is a seller, especially now at the WMX. We'll just do like a little sew job at the end there.
Honestly,
it's a slam dunk.
I think that she's going to need to spearhead that for sure. I think her dad Joe needs to get on that ASAP, because I think that there's a market for that. Because I know she's not the only girl that had nails going. I'm pretty sure I saw. Honestly, I think the top.
Let's say 90%. I'm gonna go 90%. Have
We're gonna have to take a poll
now. We will next race. If we Indiana, if we make it down.
I think I agree. I don't know, nails, and then I think I saw a handful of girls that had full makeup, full face.
Eyelashes. The eyelashes were almost hitting the goggles. I was so impressed with like having those on, no fall offs. I'm like, I thought we were like at some sort of Vegas lineup to go out at 2 a.m. and go party.
You know what? Maybe we were. And they're all so fast, and I love it. I'm here for it. So get the extensions, get the lashes, do the whole nine. Lillian crushed it. Good for her. Fast friends. Really excited to see how she kind of like continues to elevate the sport, because she's got a lot of racing left in her. So, and she's a super fighter too. I mean, like, you could tell she wasn't happy necessarily with just getting 6. Like, you could tell she's expects more out of herself, and all the girls do, which I think is awesome.
They're all super motivated. They are so hungry, all of them. That's why it's like you said, like back in the day, top 3 or 4 are ripping, but it's like top 25 now they're all shredding. So they're all hungry. They all want it. So this year is going to be amazing.
And if you don't have the nails and the lashes, you're probably outside the top 15, if we're being honest. You're probably not within the top 15 if you don't have your nails and lashes and full face on. I'm going to be honest. So
honestly, I'm about to get mine done, and hopefully I get faster.
You need a lot more than just lashes. You need lashes. You need full face makeup. You're going to need a dirt bike. You're going to need some
What is that supposed to mean?
If you want to go out and race, you're going to need to get a little bit more than just some French tips and some
my bike's
extensions.
at the malls. My bike's at the malls, ready to siphon that old gas right out of it.
So if there's anyone listening and you guys want to sponsor Sammy with a motorcycle, it needs to be current day. It cannot be a Suzuki with a kickstart. I'm sorry, it's not going to be competitive.
That's so rude. Listen, a 2014 will still get me around.
We're going to move on because.
Okay, well keep it. You're the one that brought it up.
The next
he nails and makeup. It's so rude.
I'm just saying, if you want to be in the top 15 at current WMX professional national, you're going to need to have some requirements.
Right.
Just like our girl, also absolute bad bitch. We've already talked about her, Emma Milcevic. She was also pretty consistent that day, although I know that she wanted it to be a different outcome for her, but she went 7-7 both motos in Hangtown. You could tell she had to kind of fight. She didn't get good starts that I noticed on either moto, so I think that was probably pretty frustrating for her, considering she only had 12 minutes to basically fight to get back up to where she felt she could be. So she was very humble, very friendly at Paula press day. Immediately, we kind of like all just like soaked up a lot of those girls and just like brought them in and was like, come be friends with everybody. And Emma was like right there leading the pack. So she was super cool. Got to know her pretty well those last 2 weeks. And her husband's over here as well, helping her race program. So she's not over here by herself, which is super good. I'm sure it's probably still really difficult. But you actually spoke to her, and you guys were kind of talking about some of the struggles of coming over to the States.
Yeah, some of the challenges coming over. I mean, it sounds like she's kind of had this in her head for about like a year now to come over here. But, things that we don't think about, which I think we kind of probably take this for granted, is like they have to get a certain visa to come over here. It has to be approved. Some of them cost up to $10,000 just to be over here for a maximum of a year. And then you also have this limit of when you are here for a year, you have to actually go back at the 8-month mark, and then you have to come back for another 2 weeks. Like, there's all these things that come into play, not to even mention, obviously, like, you can't use your international credit card. Like, it can't be Australian to even get a U-Haul, like, to even get a van to travel across the U.S. Like all these things come into play. Getting a bike here, sponsors from all over. So I think the challenges coming over like are way greater than we even think about. But I will say, like, from her coming in a week before Paula, like meeting her and chatting with her later on, like down the road, to see how many amazing people she's already met, how much help they've got out here, how much support they have out here, especially within the women's group. It's like moving. It's like really awesome to hear like what everyone is willing to put into the Australians coming over, and everyone believes in them, and so like the struggles aside, those girls want to be here. And they've pushed through every speed bump that has come up along the way. So it's also inspiring to hear, like there is no stop to them.
So what do you think, seeing that she went 7-7, if you had to predict the next couple rounds for Emma, who you've gotten to know pretty well too, what do and now seeing her race too, because obviously we all just met her, she kind of hit the scene, and made quite the statement coming out and getting a top 10, top 8, with a 7th overall. So what do you think, if you had to guess what she's going to place at Thunder Valley and beyond? I mean, where do you think, is she a top 5 girl for you, or do you think she's a top 3?
I want to say top 3 because obviously I really like her. I think she has a really good attitude about everything going into this. I'm going to go top 5 for sure, just because the lineup is so thick. I mean, it's heavy. It's not like she just has a couple girls to beat. Like you said, like even the top 10 lineup, they're all so fast that the competition is heavy. But I will say, I think her coming over here and riding the national tracks and seeing how well like put together they are, and with her grit and her talent coming over from Australia, I think she has the possibility of getting top 5 for sure overall. It may just take a couple races for her to kind of like get used to the like US, meet some new friends, feel really comfortable on these tracks, but she has the potential to do it. I for sure believe in her.
I think between her, I think it's going to come down to obviously Charlie Cannon's being consistent with her finishes. We all know that Charlie could probably get a couple wins too, but I think between Taylor McCutcheon and Emma Misevic, I think those two are going to be the next to watch, because I do think once they figure out their program, like you said, and being in the States and learning the tracks and the program, and then obviously getting more familiar on the motorcycles they're riding too, because obviously they're different than what they had, back home. So to learn a new motorcycle, adjust to the suspension, the motor, the tracks, the environment, the food. I mean, there's so many elements, like you said. I think once they start to settle into that in the coming weeks, I think we will start to see like their true, capabilities on a motorcycle. So I agree with you. I think it'll be pretty interesting to see. And I think those two specifically are going to start to like really pick up the pace and kind of maybe be more competitive than what we saw in Hangtown. So
yeah, those girls, watch out for them. Absolutely. And we know this is in such a good way, but we know how crazy Australians are, and they will get after it. You know what I mean? Like they bring on the competition no matter what they do. So definitely keep an eye out for those girls.
So 8th place overall was Piper Bell. She was pretty consistent as well. I think she's on the younger side too. I'm not too sure how old she is, but she definitely, I'm not sure if this was her first or second season racing WMX, but she was also kind of under the radar, at least for me. I hadn't really seen her ride until Hangtown, and so she went 8th in the first moto and 9th in the second moto, and a standout performance on the second moto by getting the whole shot. So she beat out all the girls we just talked about. She beat them all to the line, which is incredibly impressive. I think everybody knows that the start is everything. I mean, we always make fun of like, oh, keys to the race, get a good start. She was able to do that, and I think that's what set her up for success for the weekend, because she pulled off a pretty impressive whole shot in that second moto. So that was really cool for Piper Bell, and I think that she's going to continue to improve too, and she's definitely going to be somebody to watch as well. 9th overall was Destiny Slingerland. Didn't have that great of a first moto. She would finish in 14th and got an 8th in the second moto. 10th overall was Haley Williams. She was consistent. She went 11th place both motos. Adrian Spiker went 13-10 for 11th overall. And then obviously our girl, Big Brittany, she had a good breakout ride. Big Brittany went 10th in the first moto and 13th in the second moto for a 12th overall. Tell us what your emotions were when you saw Big Brit coming through the mechanics area in 10th in that first moto after not racing professionally for 14 years. Because we heard you screaming.
I couldn't stop screaming. That shows my emotion right there. Like in the mechanics pit area, like being so close, and really getting to be like basically like on the front line with the girls. And I think obviously like our hopes are like so high. Britt's been riding so well. Like even after all these years, like really keeping up on her fitness, they get to ride the track all the time. But to see her in a professional setting for the first race, like back out, it's like, it's moving and it's like emotional, you know, like coming off the track. Like I think obviously all the Moto Fit Club girls were hyped and ecstatic to see her get 10th. And I think like after that, we saw the potential in Britt that she could even do better. Right. And it's like, just to see from you guys like riding like so young, but now at, you know, the ripe age of 33, like still ripping out there. But yeah, to see Britt get 10th at Hangtown was definitely a special moment. I think I ran up to her and gave her a fat hug when she got off the track. It was so fun to see. And obviously like we have high hopes for like all the girls. We want to see everyone do really well, but to see Brittany get 10th was pretty special.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is like a proud twin moment, because it's kind of like, you know, obviously telepathically I was talking to her. That's why I don't need the pit board. And so I was like, you need to do better. Like you should be top 3 right now, but you know, it's fine. We only have 12 minutes plus 1. So she did what she could, but I know she was a little frustrated on the second moto. I think I can't remember why she got 13th. I think there was something that she was kind of battling. I don't remember if it was the start or what, but I mean, either way, 13th in I believe there were 29 girls that made it to the second moto. I think
that's right for Hangtown, yeah.
Yeah, so they're out of 29-ish girls, almost 30 girls to get 13th, you know, at the, like you said, the ripe age of 33, and not racing professionally or certainly not racing on the, you know, a Saturday track with the pros is crazy impressive. So I'm super proud, of course, and obviously Moto Fit Club, super proud. She was deemed the team captain of the Moto Fit Club race team, so I think she made a good statement there. So 13th overall was Carrie Kilbrew. She went 15-14 for 13th overall. Jaylee Gallagher went 19-12 for 14th overall. Another one that we've got to talk about is Ava Silvestri. She went 9th in Moto 1. And then she couldn't race Moto 2 because she had to rush off to, I believe it was the West Hare Scrambles that she had to go race on Sunday. So she basically got a DNS in Moto 2. But she, with her 9th in her first moto, she got 15th overall. The craziest thing is that she's never raced a WMX before. This was her very first time ever racing a motocross, a pro motocross event, and she pulled out a 9th. I mean, what does that say about off-road racers coming over to race moto? Because Michaela Nielsen's also an off-road to moto racer. So, I mean, what does that say? What does that show us with off-road racers coming to moto?
I mean, I think even from interviewing, obviously, our own Lauren Woods, Ava, and then KK, their endurance is just so through the roof that obviously, like, these, the track is more intense, right? It's like, obviously, like, you're riding Pro Day on Saturday and the ruts are up to your, you know, your hips and all these things, but their endurance is so high that the 12 minutes seems like it's nap time. You know what I mean? So they can just, like, hold it together for so long. I think actually with how intense these tracks get, especially on Saturday, and you know, hopefully eventually we have both motos on the same day, but the off-road girls are going to kill it, and I think that they're going to do better and better. Like I said, like they can hold on for a really long time, and they also bring in different skill sets. You know, I think their cornering is amazing. Like they kind of have like a different flow to these bikes. Yes, the jumps are a little bit different. Yes, the track setup a little bit different, but they bring so much more experience from the off-road racing, and I think Ava's gonna kill it. Like even the rest of the series, and she's got it too. She's also hungry.
I think if she was able to race that second moto and she didn't have that, West Hare Scrambles race in Idaho that she had to get to, she might have even done better. That once she kind of got her footing and kind of understood and got her bearings and got that first moto out of the way and was like, okay, I finished ninth. Like, oh, okay, I got this. Like, I can do this. I bet you she could have done an 8th or a 7th for sure. I mean, like you said, there's so much bike skill that is required to race off-road at the level that her and Lauren Woods and Moto KK race, that like the bike skill's there and you can see it. Her form and how she attacks the track is direct result from racing off-road. So I agree. I think that anyone that's coming from off-road is going to have that bike skill and that like balance and that strength and endurance, like you said, that she probably could have gotten maybe a top 8 as well, or better, for sure. Not to mention that she did get first that Sunday, or on Saturday, for the West Hair Scrambles. Yeah, so she's crazy talented. Also, super badass chick that we got to chat with a couple times actually at Paula, and also, of course, at Hangtown. So really looking forward to seeing her race some more of these dumb MX races and see if she can kind of put on some good heaters for us and show us how it's done. So right after Ava, we had Destiny Burgess, who went 17-17 for 16th overall. And then, of course, once again, Lauren Woods, our very own at Moto Fit Club and a fellow off-road racer, another stellar performance. She went 16th in the first moto and 18th in the second moto for 17th overall. How'd you feel seeing our girl Elle Woods cross that finish line with a 17th overall?
I am impressed. I mean, again, like the off-road racers coming in back to the WMX, Lauren Woods' first time being out on the track with all these fast girls, like totally different mindset about racing and whatever, like coming from the off-road series. But I mean, like obviously she's flying through the corners. Off-road skills are like really showing up in that, and I think that is kind of like vital to this series. Really, you can see the difference in like if the girls are going to jump, if they're going to like pin the corners, if they know how to lay it down, if they're going to hit the ruts. And I think Lauren Woods has all those skills, and she definitely brings that to the table. So I was super happy for her. I know that she was feeling it too, wanting her dad to be there as well, and I think she showed up for him. And I think that these races really mean a lot to her. So seeing her coming out top 20 is really badass.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one thing that those off-road racers, including Elle Woods, like they're not scared of the ruts. It's almost like that's their natural habitat, is like racing in the most rutted, aggressive, disastrous type terrain. So like breaking bumps and ruts going off the face of jumps and corners just being a highway of just a freeway of ruts that you have to just pick and get into. I mean, you could see it too when they're racing. It's like it's fun to watch those girls race because they have like perfect style. They're just greasing these ruts, and it's like no big deal. They make it look easy.
They're like, no problem. This is no problem. I mean, you can go out for a couple practice.
I'm gonna send it.
I'll pin it. I'll go through it. No problem.
Yeah, and like you mentioned too, her dad passed away 6 years ago, so he was a huge advocate of all of us girls. We've all known each other for 20-some years now, and we watched Lauren Woods grow up and in the racing scene too, and her dad was a huge advocate of Lauren and also the WMX, and was always at the races with her. And his dream was to see and watch Lauren, go out and perform the way she did at Hangtown this last weekend. And so, she did get emotional up at our, under the tent, just kind of realizing like what an accomplishment it is for her to get there, and put all the work she did in, the year leading up to getting to Hangtown. And I think all of us kind of felt it too, because we know that her dad, John, would 100% be the biggest cheerleader on the sidelines and would probably be crying with the rest of us up at our pit, just being so appreciative and proud of all of us for getting here and being in this moment again, because we've all been, best friends for 20-some years. So to kind of get to relive another pro national together is something special. So we know her dad was there with us in spirit for sure. And I think that's kind of what contributed to such a good turnout for her, getting 17th overall. For the same thing, she hasn't raced a pro national since, I believe, Paula and Hangtown. I think she did last season. So again, mostly an off-road actually, she's the 2025 Works champion. So again, predominantly racing off-road. So really proud of Elle Woods for showing up at Hangtown and laying down some really gnarly positions. So right after her, we had Haley Johnson, who got a 12th and a 26th in Moto 2, which put her 18th overall. And I believe Haley was the one that had a pretty gnarly Moto 2 crash where there was rumors of a helmet flying off, and it was this really violent crash. She still got up and finished the race. She did not DNF that second moto. So another stellar performance, because if she came out of that unscathed after hearing how intense that crash was, I mean, that's just professionalism showing through on how dedicated these women are on this level. So hopefully she's okay. But yeah, there was, I think, multiple accounts were saying that a helmet flew off and it was pretty violent. So hopefully she's okay.
She finished. She raced.
She finished.
Yeah. She got back on that bike. That's why the WMX is seriously so badass. These women will race under any condition, and they want to get after it. No matter what happens, they will push through. So that's super cool to see her still show up after an early crash like that.
Her helmet was put back on, just so everybody knows. The helmet was put back on so that she could finish the race.
And clipped. Yeah.
It was probably clipped before then, too. I think what it means is that she crashed so hard that it must have blasted right off of her head. So glad she's okay. Kylie Alvarez, 19th overall. She got a 27th in first moto, 15th in the second moto. Haley Vasello, 24 in the first moto, 16th in the second moto for 20th overall. Lexi Way, 18-22 for 21st overall. Lana O'Brien, 29-19 for 22nd overall. Lauren Volunteer, our fellow Moto Fit Club WMX race team athlete, another one that we really have to kind of highlight here because she had quite the weekend at Hangtown. She went 23 in the first moto, 20th in the second moto for 23rd overall. I think she was battling some mental blocks. I think in qualifying she just wasn't feeling herself riding, which we all know that feeling where you're just like you have this expectation or these set goals in your head, so then when you go out and you start to ride and it's not clicking, like you can get really frustrated and it kind of blocks you from performing how you expect, and then it adds pressure for when that first gate drop has to take place. You're like, okay, I know how to ride, but I wasn't performing in those qualifiers. You have to kind of shake that off and just go with it. And so I think she kind of dusted off the cobwebs a little bit in the first moto, getting 23rd. But then the second moto, she really turned it on, jumped all the jumps she went out to do. Not only that, but it was on Saturday on pro day. So you're talking two different tracks basically on Friday and amateur day. Them all having to race their first moto on that track, where you've had most of your seat time, on Friday with your two qualifiers, and then Moto 1. And then going into Saturday where you get not even a qualifier, it's literally a 10-minute practice. So it's practically a handful of hot laps that you get to basically just assess the track on a Saturday. And it's going to be completely different than it was Friday. And then basically go out and perform, Moto 2. And Lauren Volunteer, LV, she did that. She went out and, we all talked in between Friday and Saturday on what we wanted to kind of see and achieve on Saturday. And I think she was able to kind of turn her brain off and just rely on her motorcycle skills and the decades of experience that LV has racing motocross professionally. Yeah. She turned pro, I think, when it was the Women's National League or something like that, Women's Motocross League, so the WML or whatever. I mean, she's been a professional athlete for the longest on the Moto Fit Club team. So she knew what she needed to do, so she was able to get that, to kind of check all the boxes in Moto 2 and get a 20th, and super proud she was able to kind of overcome all those hiccups and that mental game. So couldn't be more proud of LV. I think she was pretty proud of herself too, being able to secure a 20th, although her overall was 23rd overall. A 20th is she's definitely a faster rider than that, but I think overcoming all of the hype coming into round one, as we all know, round one can always be intimidating, but nailed it. I mean, absolutely turned her brain off and did exactly what we knew she was capable of in that second moto.
Yeah, I think we could see that she was, obviously, like you said, like first round is very nerve-wracking, but even going out to practice with the girls, what was it, 2 weekends before Hangtown, like all of them hucking the jumps and stuff like that. Like she knows the track, she knows she's going to go back out there and do it. But I think obviously like the mental game of restarting a brand new season, this kind of like late in the career, like how can that not be nerve-wracking? But super exciting to see her do well. And I think, it's obviously at all of our ages with full-time jobs and everything like this, it's just like really exciting to see everyone finish finish the race in general, and no one's hurt, and everyone's still hucking the jumps, and everyone's still like getting off the track happy, and we're all in this together. So I think that's a big part of it too, and to like have all the girls there to support. It's like really inspiring LV right now, and we love to see that, and she's fired up and wants to keep it going. So, you know, it's giving everyone this like deep down young purpose again, and it's really cool to see the team have that.
So right after 23rd, we have Ariana Scoville Tavares. She went 21-21 for a 24th overall. And then not far behind LV, we have our very own geriatric Jackie Ives, who went, she actually got 20th in the first moto, got 24th in the second moto for a 25th overall. I know she had mentioned right after the second moto that her arms basically seized up on her on that second moto. Mm-hmm. Couldn't have told, I had no idea. She and the rest of the Moto Fit Club girls rode like they didn't miss a single day the last 14 years. So I had no idea that Jackie was surviving for her life, and her arms were absolute noodles and going numb during that second moto, because, I mean, she was ripping the corners, full throttle through the straightaways, jumping what she needed to jump, looked unfazed from any arm pump, or her body was just dying. She was like, I just completely like hit a wall and had nothing left in the tank, and was trying to survive, because she did get a good start on that second moto. I think she was around 15th. But then she was like, I literally couldn't even hold on anymore. Her arms were just freezing up on her. So,
right. I
mean, you're pretty old yourself, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what it's like to be, you know, a geriatric athlete out here in the streets, and maybe shed some light into, you know, maybe what she was trying to survive at, you know, 38 years old on the track.
Yeah, the fresh 38.
Fresh 38.
As a 35-year-old, thank you very much for putting me on the geriatric wagon.
We all are.
I think it gets harder. You feel your body more. You like, obviously, like when we were young, there is not even like a thought going through your brain of like, oh, I could get hurt. Oh, I have like a full-time job. Oh, I have to take care of myself. Oh, like all these things like come up. But, you know, Jackie she showed resilience on the track, right? Like we didn't know she had arm pump until she came off. Like obviously first round back, like there's like nerves for everyone going in, but as a seasoned vet, Jackie came in and pulled it off again. So yes, I definitely feel the arthritis already coming at 35. I'm sure she does too, but she did a great job. Always has such like a positive attitude on and off the track. So it was awesome to see how she did.
You make a good point too, and I'm sure this could be the same for a lot of the girls that lined up, almost all 30 of them. I'm sure a handful, like all of us at Moto Fit Club, all have full-time jobs. So, yeah. You know, LV mentioned it too, like she was just happy to get out of the weekend. She's got to go work on Monday, just like the rest of us, and which I think just absolutely adds to the badassery that LV, Elle Woods, Brittany, and Jackie put in the performance that they did, knowing the risks of racing professionally. Could be injury, could be, you know, just cost of getting to the races, could be financially detrimental to anybody, just considering how expensive it is just to get yourself to the race, let alone any bike problems. You know, if you blow a motor, which we saw some of the girls were dealing with that at Hangtown, just blowing motors or having engine issues. We don't have the funds to fix that. I mean, we certainly have the support. You know, obviously John with 360 Motorsports being a huge supporter, and Jackie's mechanic of, you know, almost Moto Fit Club's mechanic, because he was kind of the I don't know, the wrench and the strength base of the team for Hangtown. But yeah, I mean, like we don't have those resources to just, you know, go buy a new engine or a new motorcycle or even just new parts that might break if you crash, or let alone get yourself hurt. You know what I mean? So I know there's probably a lot more than just Moto Fit Club that, you know, had to work on Monday. So shout out to all the girls that have full-time careers. I know some of the girls are in school, so they're doing schooling. They're also racing. And to race at this caliber and this level is just so impressive. So I think that all of us that are geriatric, you know, under the geriatric 10 of Moto Fit Club, can really appreciate the level of effort that goes into just not only racing. We can all go out and race, you know, be weekend warriors, but to race at a professional level is just insanity, and make it out alive. So shout out to Jackie for proving to all the 38-year-olds out there that still want to race that you can do it.
You can do it. It's definitely possible. Don't give up.
Yeah, we had to pull her off the bike after the second moto, but, put her right into the wheelchair, but it was fine. We spoon-fed her.
Get her the tennis ball walker.
We spoon-fed her and gave her her baby food at the Airbnb after, and we put her to bed, and she was fine. So, so right after Jackie in 25th, we had Giselle Spohr, who went 22, 23, and 26 overall. Rusty Tucker went 25, 25 for 27th overall. Jenna Jansen, 28, 27 for 28th overall. And then last but not least, Michelle Anaya, 26, 28 for 29th overall. So stacked class, I think we can definitely all agree that it's only going to get more competitive from here. But some really fun stats to kind of wrap it up here. I did some research, and Sammy, I know you did this too, which kind of sparked my interest to see. But the top two women this last weekend, Lala Turner and Charlie Cannon, ran it. Their best lap was a 2:07 at Hangtown in 2026, first round. The average top 5 250 class riders, their average lap time, top 5, was a minute 57. So we're talking less than 10 seconds off the top 5 250 class riders. So it just shows the level of speed that the WMX class is kind of putting out there. It's not like we're really that far behind, the 250 riders at the pro level, on the same track, practically almost at the same time. I mean, Saturday we raced right after, the first motos for 250 and 450. So we're racing the same tracks, under the same conditions. So I just think what that tells me is that women are getting faster. Obviously, we're riding more advanced, faster motorcycles because we can handle it. The fitness is there. So we're competitive, and it's really cool to see that we're about 9 seconds off the average top 5 250 class riders. So another fun stat that I was able to pull, Jessica Patterson and Ashley Filik, both former multi-time WMX champions, back in, I believe, 2012, their fastest lap time was an average of a 2:25. So they were running at Hangtown in 2012, a 2:25 lap time. There's a lot of variables that obviously go into that, weather, track design, the motorcycles at the time, the whole nine. But if you really kind of put it together, in 2012, the two top WMX champions were running at 2:25, and today the two top, WMX athletes are running at 2:07. So I think it's kind of fair to say, even though there's variables involved in those stats, that the current day WMX athletes are overall faster than what we've seen over the last 15 years. And that's also exciting to know that, like, the skills and the training and the fitness are all coming together to basically put out some of the fastest women that we've seen in the world too. Obviously, you've got Charlie coming over from Australia and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's not just us here in the States anymore. It's an international stage for women to kind of showcase how fast they are. So I thought that was pretty cool statistics. But the last thing too is just the simple fact that Australia, like we've talked about this entire time, is absolutely dominating pro motocross. You obviously have the Lawrence brothers, who are putting on clinics every weekend through Supercross and now into pro motocross, between Jet coming back from his injury and still dominating like it's no big deal, like he hadn't lost any time on the bike. Even Hunter, who's been incredible through Supercross, was basically the runner-up to the Supercross championship, and then basically went untouched, at Paula for the first round of the Pro Motocross Series. And then again, Charlie Cannon, Taylor McCutcheon, and Emma Misavik just coming out and showing us how it's done. So I think Australia is going to be pretty hard to beat in this series.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I think that we know that Australians are a different breed in general, but to see them all out on the track, also including the women, is pretty special. And also, not to mention, the women with that faster lap time than obviously years ago when Filik and Patterson and everyone were racing. Like you said, like, these girls are rolling up in vans, barely any support on stock bike and stock suspension, and the lap times are still that much faster. Like, there's a lot of fast girls out there, and super excited to see how the series goes and progresses. And, hopefully next year we even get more races and more opportunity. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, I agree. All right, last call for anything we missed for a Hangtown recap. I mean, it was pretty exciting for us. We had a short drive, considering it was in California. But we want to make any final thoughts on Hangtown?
Final thoughts on Hangtown. We loved our trap house with the pool. That was great. To stay in, get all the girls together. Also, shout out to, the girls' dads that showed up. Also, John with 360 Motorsports was vital to everything that we did at Hangtown. Mark, Jackie's dad, showed up, as well as George came all the way out from Colorado to support the girls, and also got emotional in the house because to see all the girls get back together and ride and all best friends for over 20 years, it's really moving for everyone. So we did have tons of support to get everyone back on the same page with all of our full-time jobs, everything going on. I think it was something that we were really, really looking forward to, and it was maybe even more successful than we even thought it was going to be. So awesome weekend. Can't wait to do it again.
So I think what you're saying is that this episode is dedicated to the dads of WMX. I think that's the conclusion.
That is a big conclusion after all this, but sure, we can send it. We can send it there.
Perfect. All right, cool. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll recap and talk more about the upcoming rounds, and looking forward to it. And that's all we got.
We'll see you there.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment on what you want to hear next on the Moto Made Podcast. Visit motofitclub.com for upcoming training courses, fitness programs, and community events and ride days. Follow us on social media at Moto Fit Club and check out our latest videos on our new YouTube channel. A big thank you to all of our Moto Fit Club sponsors: Three Bros Racing, Sign Art Graphics, Factory Connection, Rhino Power, and of course FMF Pipes. I'm Bry Marcotte. We'll see you at the track.